What is good, everybody? It is your boy Cab back with another Xenoverse 2 video for you guys. Hey! We are here to discuss the possibility of seeing a new story mode in this DLC because it's something that I've seen a lot of you guys talking about in the comments, and I want to talk about what I think could happen with this DLC and if we're actually going to be getting a story in it at the same time. Let's jump into it. Alright, y'all, like I said at the start of this video, we are going to be discussing the possibility of a new story mode in DLC 14. But before we get into that, man, YouTube is letting me know that only about 50% of you guys who are watching the videos are subscribed. So if you are a new viewer to the channel, man, be sure to smash up that sub button, hit that notification bell so you know when we upload each and every single time, and also smash up that like button. It definitely does help your boy out. Now, jumping into this right here, there are reasons to believe that we are going to be getting a story, and then also reasons to believe that we won't be getting a story. Like, I'm kind of conflicted with this as it stands right now because, like I said, I've thought of reasons why we can get a story, and I've also thought of reasons why we won't be getting a story in this DLC. Let's first talk about reasons why we cannot, or why we may not see a story mode in DLC 14. First and foremost, the man's few. The man's few has not been around this time at all when it comes to the reveals, and the story that we've been getting recently with DLC 12 and 13 has all been centered around few messing with the timeline, gathering timeline energy or whatever it's called for some grander scheme that he does have working on, and we really don't know what that scheme is. I still think that this whole story that they've had going on these last couple DLCs is setting up something bigger, potentially like a Xenoverse 3, but again, the man few has not been around in any of the reveals up until this point in time. Now that can change with the next Conton City TV event whenever that does happen, but it doesn't seem like it. It just seems like they're going to be revealing the next Vote character, showcasing the next Vote character in my man's dispo, and then most likely hinting at what will be coming next in this DLC at the same time, because they always leave little hints at the end of Conton City TV for the next Conton City TV event that they will have next month. So like I said, with few not being involved at all up until this point with 2 reveals already coming out, it doesn't seem like it's likely that story will be continuing on with this DLC, and that makes me feel like we may not be getting a story since the last 2 stories have been again centered around few and him messing with the timeline and involving characters that have been part of DLC 12 and DLC 13. Now, another reason that I feel we may not also be getting another story mode is because we've already had 2 story DLCs in a row. I don't think that ever happened before in the past. Like, usually it would be a non-story DLC, story DLC, non-story DLC, story DLC. Like, there was always gaps in between story DLCs actually being released. Well, in the last 2, we actually did get story for both of them. So I think that they might be taking a gap once again with DLC 14 and maybe saving the finishing story of whatever's going on with few or something like that in DLC 15, or leaving it just on a massive cliffhanger in DLC 15 with few, because like I said, it does feel like they're setting up something bigger with few story, potentially like a Xenoverse 3. Now, let's talk about why we can be getting a story mode at the same time in this DLC, because this DLC is adding more Tournament of Power characters, clearly. We've already had Dismal confirmed, we've already had UI Omen confirmed. With those 2 characters being confirmed, it just adds more to the Tournament of Power roster. We've had Kale and Caulifla in last DLC. We had Full Power Jiren in the last DLC. We also had Topo, God of Destruction Topo, in the previous DLC before that. So a lot of the Tournament of Power characters have been added in. And for anybody who may say, because I just thought about this, anybody who may say, oh, we got a Tournament of Power story with God of Destruction Topo, that wasn't really a Tournament of Power story mode. That was still centered around few and him messing with the timeline and messing with the characters involved in said DLC. So we haven't had a true Tournament of Power story like we had for the Universal Tournament arc, the Goku Black Rose arc. Those were 2 story modes that were centered around those characters completely and 100%. It was like multiple missions just involving those arcs. We haven't had anything like that for the Tournament of Power. So I do think that is something that is actually very possible within this DLC, just due to the amount of Tournament of Power characters that we've gotten in the last 3 DLCs now. Like, when you include DLC 14, we've gotten 6 brand new characters from the Tournament of Power included in these DLCs. Again, we had Demands God of Destruction Topo, Kale and Caulifla, then we had Full Power Jiren, and now we're getting UI Omen Goku along with Dispo at the same time. So I do think there is a possibility of seeing just a straight up Tournament of Power story mode within DLC 14, but I don't think that Few will be involved this time around, because it doesn't seem like he will be. I believe in all the other Conton City TV events, when he was involved in the story, he was pretty much shown in each and every single one. We didn't see him in the first one with UI Omen Goku. Like I said, it's still possible to see him in the one with Dispo, but at the same time, there was no hints at it or anything like that when Dispo was revealed, and there was nothing about it in the V-Jump scans for DLC 14 at the same time. So again, I do feel that there is reasoning as to why we can get a story mode, and it'll probably be based around the Tournament of Power if we do. And then there's also reasoning why we may not be getting a story mode at the same time. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. Do you think that Few could actually still be returning for a third DLC in a row when it comes to the story mode? Or do you think that if we get any kind of story mode, it'll be Tournament of Power based, like I believe, because of all the Tournament of Power characters that have been added in with these last couple DLCs, I should say. But let me know your thoughts on all that down below in the comments. And as always, man, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, hope y'all have a good one. Peace, y'all.